Hey everyone, how's it going? Donnie again here with another record haul for you. This one is pretty cool. I got a lot of foreign pressings from the UK, maybe some other ones, I'm not too sure. And then I got a few in the beginning from Goodwill, which usually I don't get too lucky at Goodwill, but I found a few good records this time. Before I get into it, again, wanted to showcase my album really quickly. Any support I receive from you guys is really, really appreciated. I released this album earlier this year. Wrote all the songs, did most of the production with help from my friend who has a recording studio. But I was super excited to get this pressed on vinyl. It's also available for streaming on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and whatever else. So I'll post the links down below, and then you can check it out if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. But so first few here, let's see, first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are from Goodwill. This first one is a UK pressing of Hide and Seekers by the Seekers. Very cool cover there. Love the flip back sleeve. Love to see UK pressings, so glad to find that. And then some of these I'm not even sure why I bought. I mean, it's just hard to pass up some decent records for $1. But we have Mamas and the Papas Deliver. This is $1.59 from Goodwill. And then we got Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, also $1.59. Simon and Garfunkel's Sounds of Silence. And finally we got Bookends, Simon and Garfunkel. And then to get into the other records, I think I made a video in the past about this particular seller on eBay. Basically, there was this particular seller who was auctioning off a lot of UK and other country albums, and I believe he wouldn't list the condition of it, or the condition wasn't perfect. Like sometimes he would say VG or G plus, but then you'd get it and it'd be much better than that or worse than that. I think I want to say that basically he just bought these records and just said, here's this record, and said nothing of the condition, now that I think about it. And so people who were bidding on the auction, sorry, it's really hot in here. If you can see me, I'm sweating. People who were bid on the auction would then be iffy about it, and then they wouldn't pay as much, and so you could get good deals. And so I bid on this guy a lot. I got 2 or 3 different groups of it. The third time around, I bid on and I won a bunch of records, including this really rare copy of Sgt. Pepper. I forget what country it was from, but it was from a very unique country, and it was a first pressing that was very, very uncommon. And I was really excited to get it, and then it never arrived. And then I looked, and I found that this guy's account had been shut down. I don't know if he was banned or if something nefarious was going on with him. I don't know, but got my money back for that. But either way, I was very upset that I didn't get that Sgt. Pepper. There's a lot of other records that I had bought in that group that I didn't receive, but I don't remember any of them except for that Sgt. Pepper, and I'm still upset that I don't have that particular Sgt. Pepper. But to start off this lot of records that I got from him is, Sgt. Pepper. This is a original UK mono pressing of this. I already put it in its own sleeve. Very, very nice. Love to see it. And I forget, some of these, I think generally, I've been on a lot of these. Some of them might be less than $10. Some of them might be, it's like 30 or so. I'm not sure. And it's also like, the more you bought, like in the US, it's hard to get UK copies of albums. They're not as common. And so this guy was selling a whole lot. And so if I bought a lot, then I could get discounts, for the shipping, because I think there's a flat rate for the shipping. So, there's an incentive for me to buy a lot at once. But so here we have Nat King Cole Sings, UK, a copy of this with the flip back. Yeah, and all of these I put in new sleeves, or vast majority of them I put in new sleeves. The Hollies, For Certain Because, original UK mono. Really cool to get these because these albums weren't issued like in this way in the US, so very cool. This is a reissue, like a 70s pressing, I think, of Please Please Me in stereo. At this point, I think I only had one or two UK mono copies of this, and I didn't have any stereo. And obviously, getting a early stereo copy of this is pretty expensive, so I just settled. I think this was cheap, so I bought this from him. Original UK mono copy of Elvis Is Back. Very cool. On RCA with this weird label. This one's really, really awesome. This is a stereo copy, again, original UK, of Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited. Very cool, laminated, flip back. No, this one doesn't have flip back, but still, very, very cool. Well Respected Kinks. This is a UK compilation album of a bunch of Kinks tunes. I love me the Kinks. This is Parallel Lines by Blondie. This is a UK pressing. Although, it's cool, but not as cool because, at this point, late 70s, pressings were kind of similar-ish to that of the U.S., so it's pretty similar, quality to the U.S. pressings, from what I know. Let's see. This one, for some reason, I could find this album cheaper from this guy in the UK than I could in U.S. sellers. And this is one that I was looking for. This is Cold Sweat by James Brown and His Famous Flames. And again, I love James Brown album covers. They are absolutely amazing. And this is a good album. Cold Sweat is a very, very good song. I think this one might have been one that was a little bit worse off than I was hoping. Yeah, this is pretty scratched up. But still, cool to have. This is an original UK copy. What was it? Is it stereo? Looks to be mono of Bob Dylan's Bringing It All Back Home. I could just get this in the thing there. There we go. And I think, I just didn't even put it in a sleeve because it doesn't play very well. So maybe I'll just get rid of this. It's cool to have the cover, and I have many other playable copies, so not sure what I'll end up doing with this, but very cool to see. We have another original UK mono copy of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This one does not have the full insert, but it has just a small portion of it left that somebody cut everything else out. So, yeah. But I love getting these original mono UK Sgt. Peppers. They're really awesome. And then, so these next two, I'll say that these are both Simon Garfunkel albums, and so they're UK pressings. And I guess here's a little bit of a story time. A few years ago, when I got these records, after I got these records, I went to see Art Garfunkel play a live show in Northern Virginia. And after the show, waited out by the side with my girlfriend at the time, and Art comes out after the show, and I guess I don't need to go into too much detail, but you know, they say never meet your idols, and yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of artists from the '60s, and you know, artists that I really like, and I got to hang out with them. Like for instance, David Crosby, I got to meet and hang out with, and he was absolutely amazing. He was so nice and gave me tickets to his next show, and you know, which I didn't expect at all. We hung out with him for like, you know, half an hour. Art Garfunkel was very not like that. He was very rude, and he was upset with me because I asked him to sign these next two albums that are UK pressings and therefore laminated. And I thought that the marker, the Sharpies that I brought would be fine on them, but they weren't writing very well on these next two copies. And so he like stormed off multiple times. Like he started writing his signature and then finished and then like stormed off and then kind of realized what he was doing and then like came back and mentioned that I'd seen Paul Simon in concert before, and he was like trying to ask me all this stuff about Paul Simon, and was like, you know, who do you like better? Do you like Paul Simon better? Or do you like me better? You're like, whose show is better? And I was like, I don't know. They both were good in their own way, and I like this about this show and this about this show. And he was like, no, tell me which is better. I was like, okay, I don't know. It's very awkward of a whole situation. Another thing that when I was talking about the Paul Simon show, one thing I said that I liked about that show, or I thought was cool, was I saw it in Pittsburgh, where I'm from, and there's the line in America where in the song America where this, you know, it's Paul Simon sings that you know, boards a Greyhound bus in Pittsburgh, and when Paul Simon sang that line at the show, everyone went crazy when he said Pittsburgh, and I told that to Art Garfunkel, and he was like, they don't say the word Pittsburgh in that song. There's no lyric that says Pittsburgh. And I was like, you know, I didn't want to like be. I've listened to the song many times, and I know for a fact that it says Pittsburgh because I'm from Pittsburgh. And every time it comes on, then I I'm proud of it. So, but he didn't believe that it was in it, and I didn't argue with him, but he was like, I think I would know better than you or something. It was just very rude. I don't know. But yeah, so it was nice to stop and talk to us for, you know, a couple minutes, but I think differently of Art Garfunkel now, because I've always perceived him as being, you know, like a gentle seeming figure, and he seems very brash and just, you know, a mean old man. This first one, I love Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. This signature did not show up very well at all. You can kind of see it there. And like I said, he was mad at me that I didn't test the markers or something beforehand, even though they were brand new Sharpies, just because it was laminated. But the second copy, Bookends, it shows up much, much better. But still could be brighter. But still, even though it was a bad experience, it's still cool. And obviously I love Simon and Garfunkel, so eventually I'm going to get this framed. So that was an experience. We have a few more albums here and one single here. So we have UK copy of Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney's The Girl Is Mine from Thriller. Very cool picture sleeve there. And then we have an original UK mono copy of Beatles for Sale. This is one, I have all the UK copies and multiple copies, and this is one I think I only had one other copy, and so I have to kind of compare now and see which one is a bit better. And then this might also be one that the record wasn't great, or maybe, let me see. No, that looks very, very good. I guess I just didn't put in a sleeve yet. But this is Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. by Simon and Garfunkel. Original UK or early UK copy. No flip backs there, so I assume at least late 60s. Could be 70s. And then there's the record, very nice. Yeah, this feels a little flimsy, probably 70s. And then we have UK copy, which I don't think I had. I think I might now, but at this point I definitely did not have any copy of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid by Bob Dylan, the soundtrack for the movie. And this is a UK copy of this. Very cool. Oh, it has some ad on the inside. This is a CBS record, just like the Simon & Garfunkel ones. And so they have a nice big ad on the inner sleeve for some Simon & Garfunkel albums. Very fun. Yeah, there's the record. That orange CBS logo. And then we have just one more. This is a UK or a US copy, I believe. I'm not sure if they even had UK copies of this. I'll double check. Yeah, so this is a stereo copy of this, of US. I have a couple mono copies of this. This album is one of my favorites. The Coasters' first album, the Coasters' debut album, was a compilation, but still has some really great songs on it. Love the cover. Got Searchin', Brazil, Smokey Joe's Cafe, Riot in Cell Block Number 9, Youngblood, Down in Mexico. Really great album. So this is, stereo. It's electronically reprocessed to stimulate stereo, but still, I thought this was pretty cool. So pick that up. And that is that haul. So I really appreciate everyone watching and checking out my channel. Again, I have the links down below. If anyone would be so kind to check out my album again, if you just stream one of my songs on Spotify, that does help a lot. So thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next video.